All right. All right. So the motion for today's debate competition is technology making us safer. Again, is technology making us safer? So we're going to run the debate. So first speaker, second, and continuing. All right. So put your hands together for the Montego Bay High School proposing the moot.
All right. Technology is the application of scientific knowledge, tools, techniques, and methods to solve problems, create products, or enhance processes. It is not just the use of social media, but rather the implementation of innovative platforms to facilitate the evolving global growth. It is imperative to remember that we are moving towards a world marked by its continuous technological growth. In such a situation, it is not only reasonable, but an absolute necessity to involve technology in the aid of the protocols that we have set in place for safety. Let us keep in mind that safety cannot be simply defined as the condition of being protected from harm and danger, as it also encompasses the measures and practice designed to minimize risk and ensure well-being, the very thing that technology will and has aided us to do. Esteemed judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my most worthy opponents, a pleasant good afternoon to you all. Allow me to lay the foundation of our argument as we stand here in complete agreement to the moot that technology is making us safer. As the first speaker, I will introduce our ideas of technological aid in a physical matter, such as revolutionized healthcare system, enhanced emergency responses, and strengthened security measures. My second speaker will then illustrate the social and economical benefits. And finally, my third speaker and rebuttal will summarize our main points and invalidate the argument brought by our opponents. First and foremost, technology has significantly improved our approach to patient safety and medical treatment. Telemedicine, for example, had made healthcare more accessible, particularly during sudden global disasters like the COVID-19 pandemic. Patients could consult medical professionals from the safety of their home without the risk of exposure to infections. Mr. Speaker, let us look at our neighbors in the East, China, one of the most technologically developed countries. As stated by LinkedIn, beginning in 2013, private technology enterprises began to invest significantly in digital healthcare, spreading the creation of an internet health market. They are thriving with the implementation of telemedicine, and if they can do so, then Jamaica can certainly as well. Let us now turn our attention to the improvement of emergency response capabilities. To link back to our healthcare system, wearable technology has drastically improved our response time. Rather than waiting for someone to notice you are down, by a simple press of a button or voice recognition, you can alert emergency assistance to quickly respond to accidents in relation to epilepsy, stroke, or other health conditions, while also giving information on the incident that they are responding to. Similarly, this very same technology has aided our emergency responders in communication vital for unpredicted crises. Police officers and firefighters alike can use these devices to alert for extra help rather than depending solely on fate. A study published by the National Institute of Standard and Technology in 2020 had shown that efficiency had improved amongst emergency responders by 30 to 50%. This increase comes from the access to real-time data and communication tools that streamline operations. We have solid proof that technology works for the USA. This is giving no reason to believe it would not for Jamaica. Finally, technology can strengthen the security measures that we already have set in place. When it comes to public security, technology has already proven to be a reliable aid in protection. Tools like our surveillance cameras, alarm systems, and smart home technology provide layers of security that would otherwise be impossible with just human intervention. It is also evident in the very techniques we use in preparation for natural disasters, like the early warning systems, satellites, or even something as simple as the weather app, which uses aerial robotics to aid us in predicting the forecast. Let's look at our fishermen. They have used these devices to prevent endangering their lives by going out at sea ignorant to the bad weather. Must I remind you of Hurricane Beryl, a Category 4 hurricane that struck Jamaica early into July, the beginning of the hurricane season? Without technology, there would be no warning for the hurricane, no warning for the category, no warning for the aftershocks, and most importantly, there will be no warning or idea of a hurricane season even existing. No warning means no preparation or mitigation measures for an incoming hurricane or any other natural disasters. Technology is not an independent factor, and while we are arguing for the implementation of technology, we are not arguing for the responsibility to fall on technology alone. It is a tool that we can use to enhance, not displace. While it is important to remain vigilant about the challenges that technology presents, the benefits it brings to our safety far outweighs the drawbacks. Technology is unavoidable. Therefore, it is essential that we highlight the benefits and resolve any complications to not risk being left behind. As we look towards a future of further technological innovation, it is not only sensible to implement such rules, but also necessary. I thank you.
Judicators, members of the audience, my fellow opponents and team members, a wonderful afternoon to you all. Before I delve into my speech, I would like to define specific terms. We define safety within the precincts of technology and as preventative and not so reactionary. This would encompass all the institutions within a society and the micro impact they have on individuals. The vision of safe environment would be a setting in which technology actively contributes to the physical, digital, and emotional security of individuals and communities. Technology, in fact, does the opposite. As yet, it may benefit certain areas, but it serves as a threat to our society, privacy, and human rights. Technology enhances our societal issues and creates many more. Deep-fake pornographic crisis engulfing Korean schools, online platforms enabling mass shootings and suicide, 43 million attempted cyber attacks in Jamaica, hackers siphoned 4 million from Jamaican banks. Mr. Speaker, we have a technology crisis on our hands. Technology has always been a massive part of human growth and innovation, but the direction we are going in is dangerous. It has wormed its way into our news outlets. The use of bots on the internet as a vector for the spread of false information is widespread. The onset of fake news has shaped a mass amount of societal viewpoints. Take, for example, the COVID-19 pandemic. Most of us were extremely online. A trusted medical device that has been used for centuries in our medical practices. The vaccine can suddenly be seen as a threat to our lives. Or remember the QAnon conspiracy theories that spread around the alt-right community that encouraged persons to storm the US Capitol. Propaganda exists in countries globally and can be utilized as a weapon by most governments, such as China, who uses technology under the dictatorship to filter anything seen as a threat to their power. Surveillance is a fact of life for Chinese people, and technological improvements make it easier to keep track. How does this affect us, Mr. Speaker? Misinformation can lead to strong emotive responses by certain groups, leading to aggression, physical, and mental harm. The right to be left alone, the most comprehensive of rights and the most valued by civilized men. Quoted by Justice Louis Brand. Privacy is something every human values. No one wants all their mistakes, embarrassing moments, thoughts, and ideas echoed to the world. There's a reason the brain controls the mouth and not vice versa. With the onset of the digital age, humans use technology to track our everyday lives, from the food we eat to our compromising photos. Consider the article, 50 million Facebook profiles harvested for Cambridge Analytical data breach. How many of you have an aunt or grandma on Facebook? The one post your grandma makes of her orchid plant will go through the algorithm, but we'll realize, okay, your grandma likes gardening. And what happens to that information? Well, Meta has been sued a plethora of times for selling your information to third-party apps. So maybe grandma's photo will end up in an advertising campaign for selling plants, or could end up in a hacker chat group that targets elders. This directly goes against United Nations Human Rights Declaration. Everyone has the right to privacy and freedom from attacks on their reputation. Furthermore, even in the building of the technology we all love and enjoy, from the skyscrapers to the phone to the medical equipment, international This all violates international human rights. Take, for example, Dubai, one of the most architectural and technological advanced countries in the world, is built on modern-day slavery. An article by the Human Rights Watch describes how Dubai is importing migrants to work under extremely poor, long, and dangerous conditions with very few rights. These restrictions prevent them from returning home and even leaving their jobs without employer consent. And under Article 13, everyone has the right to freedom of movement and to be free to leave their own and return to their own country. These persons have no freedom of movement. And to keep things topical, given our current location, I will briefly address technology and fire safety. Technology's fire risk is evident in cases like Samsung Galaxy Note 7, which was recalled due to its battery overheating and catching fire. Similarly, overloaded circuits and cyber vulnerabilities in smart homes can prevent fire alarms from working, as shown when hackers disable smart devices, leaving buildings more vulnerable. These examples highlight the importance of safety in tech-integrated environments. Let's go back to our vision of an ideal safe environment. Technology contributes to physical safety. In some aspects, yes, but it contradicts itself to the rapid spread of false information in which people are encouraged to believe dangerous conspiracies leading to physical assault, mass shooting, and decisions against modern medicine, and even fire safety threats to an extent. Digital security. Most of the sites we are relying on are selling our information to third parties, and even in the use of VPNs and antiviruses, those companies have also been accused of selling our information. And lastly, emotional. Technology companies violate international human rights that in no doubt affect our emotional well-being, such as the struggling workers slaving away in factories. The opposition rests momentarily.
Honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, my esteemed opponents, a pleasant good afternoon. As the second speaker on the affirmative side of today's debate, I stand before you today to reinforce the motion, "Is technology making us safer?" The first speaker solidified a proper foundation on the physical aspects of technology. Today, I will outline the social, mental aspects of technology and the economical aspects of technology. Firstly, aiding law enforcement in terms of efficiency by making citizens faster by the use of technology. For example, Wanted Wednesdays acts as a digital program that engages citizens through an avenue of interaction by the Jamaica Constabulary Force. It has increased the means of apprehending security risk. Secondly, due to the low cost associated with gaining access to mental health specialists, the online platform has prevented the sense of isolation for normal individuals. This can protect the well-being of the individual if they do not have that sense of isolation. Because we know that when someone feels isolated, they may in turn do acts of things that can endanger us as a society. My opponents may argue that online therapy may not reveal the true intentions of a client based on their body language. However, therapists do not solely need to depend on body language, but instead, they can use voice intonation and facial expressions of the clients. Generally speaking, the government has seen health complications, mental illness, as a significant challenge faced by the youth of today's society. The development of mental telehealth services is just one example of how technological developments can help tackle the mental health crisis in developing nations, such as Jamaica. Statistics created by the Borgen Project on October 2023 have shown that 15%, nearly 120,000 students have a mental disorder, and 5% or 40,000 of them may be suffering from a severe mental disorder. However, the UNICEF has found a solution. They have provided mobile devices for students so that they could use it as a safe haven to communicate the issues that they may have faced. So if a child does not have someone they could confine in their household, they could use that mobile device as a way to communicate instead of harboring that feelings.
Point of information.
In conclusion, technology undeniably enhances our safety in numerous ways. From advanced medical devices that can save and protect us from intrusion. Innovations in communication allows for quicker emergency responses that my first speaker mentioned. While there are concerns about privacy and security, the overall impact of technology on our safety far outweighs these risks. As we embrace these advancements, we must continue to innovate responsibly, ensure that technology remains a force for our good. I thank you.
Ready? Good afternoon. Now, before I get into my speech, I want to rebut an argument made by a side proposition. They said that there are technologies that can be used for methods of online therapy and etc. But I argue that this is very unsafe if unchecked. For example, Help has been put under much scrutiny, which is a popular site that people use for therapy. And as I go on, adjudicators, members of the audience, and my worthy opponents, good afternoon. As the second speaker of side opposition, I have been tasked with presenting how technology has created room for more inventive and deleterious crimes, how technology has negatively influenced social media and society, and how it also breached numerous human rights. My first point highlights how cybercrimes have made their presence known in our society and have increasingly made us as a people unsafe in many ways. So let's get into it. Cybercrimes such as phishing, which is a form of e-fraud, lottery scamming, and cyber attacks on governments and nations as a whole, have increased exponentially with the popularity of modern technology. In January 2024, the JCF reported that, quote, in recent years, Jamaica has witnessed a significant trend in electronic fraud incidents. In 2022, a total of 320 cases of e-fraud were reported, with the financial impact amounting Jamaican $120.3 million and US $19.8 million. Now, Mr. Speaker, we can see that these people are not just attacking the poor man, but are also attacking the big fish in society. We're talking about them chopping millions through these technological advanced methods of crime and making financial safety less secure. Now, Mr. Speaker, this trend is evolving fast, and our biggest problem yet is that our judicial system is struggling to keep up with this caliber of crimes, which means more and more of these offenses will continue to happen unchecked and at a larger scale. Governments and nations too are under cyber attack, such as hacking government agencies, which can put confidential information at risk of being sold for political leverage, cyber warfare, and election tampering, among others, which are very real in our status quo. And as my first speaker mentioned, those 43 million cyber attacks that happened on Jamaica in 1 year. Now, let's look briefly at Jamaica's scamming crisis. Technology is the bread and butter of these criminals. They needed to perform their illegal activities and not only pose a danger to Jamaican society, but also the vulnerable people abroad. Further bolstering the point that technology does not change the corrupt mind, and in our current society, technology is a real threat. My next point is technology's negative effect on social media and, by extension, its effects on society and our children. We can go on and on for days on whether social media is good or bad, and although it has positive effects, its drawbacks are overwhelmingly evident. For example, the sites 4chan and 8chan, social media sites designed for unfiltered extremist opinions and loosely moderated graphic content from anonymous users. The site is flooded with posters linked to extremist neo-Nazi and supremacist ideologies, white supremacist ideologies, criminal behavior such as mass shooter manifestos. Accepted.
So we understand, so technology, it cannot be avoided, we understand that. So while cybersecurity has issues, would you not agree that advancement in cybersecurity technologies, such as encryption and authenticity, are essential in protecting identity self-interest? Without technology, how would you defend against modern cybercrimes?
Wow, thank you so much for that. Essentially, what we're talking about is not just the technology that's bad, but it's the mind that it is the person who has the technology is our issue. Now, society, of course. So when you look at technology, it is the person who has it. So technology becomes corrupt when someone corrupt is using it. And as I said, in our society, it's a big issue. But thank you, I must move on. Now, This site, as I said, is followed with shooter manifestos, child pornography, just to name a few. Mr. Speaker, this alone shows that not accepted. This alone shows that technology is not making us as a society safer, but instead is leading us down a dangerous path. Not to mention how accessible these inflammatory ideologies are to the public. Because of technology, there are many safety concerns for children, notably their exposure to obscene and graphic content, violent crimes, as well as unsafe social media trends that lead to possible loss of life or injury. My final point covers the numerous human rights breaches that technology imposes on individuals globally. Take a look at our phones and laptops and admire their beauty, as you know, Prop would want you to. But search deeper, and you will uncover a host of human rights breaches. Our devices mainly use lithium-ion batteries. Because of the high demand of this element, companies began unethical and corrupt practices in poor countries that employ children for little to no wages in unsafe mining conditions. This robs children of their health and rights, which puts their lives at constant risk. Not to mention how these technologies, such as hybrid vehicles, phones, and laptops, utilize these batteries that are prone to spontaneous combustion, which also puts us at a daily risk, puts us at risk as daily users, right? And technology, right, is not just dangerous because of how it is used, but it is also dangerous as to how it is made. Now, technology is broad, and with its broad scope comes a myriad of these issues and threats that jeopardize our safety. Side opposition rests momentarily.
I once again take the opportunity to greet you all. Good afternoon. I must remind you all the fundamental reason for us being here. It is to embrace digital innovation for fire safety. Is that not the fire department's moot for this week? I want to hear an answer, man. Tell me. Yes, thank you. A department that is in charge of our safety is spearheading our moot. This sounds like credibility. I ask my opponents, they would have said that it is the corruption of technology that makes it a threat. Can we blame the tool? Can we blame the tool, or do we blame the user for how they use it? Can we blame the tool when the tool can be used for good? When the tool can be used for good and has been used for good, how can you argue that it doesn't make us safer when we are afforded the opportunity to predict hazards in an effort to prevent disasters, which are two completely different things? Before technology, our history relied solely on assumptions without full scientific support of technology, one that we are aided with today. You also spoke to mental concerns. But I must bring up something crucial. I must remind you of our people with disabilities who are today aided by technology in a way that man cannot consistently aid. Think about how content they are, how safe they feel knowing that they can have technology for aid. We also can speak to mental health, which they would have refuted, but I asked them, you can refute therapy, but can you refute doctors being able to provide prevention, education, assessment, and treatments clinically validated? So, via digital technology, a video call, a call. You don't have to go to the doctor's office in order to get treated. Come on now. Ooh. E-waste, you spoke of e-waste, but it is technology in itself that continues to impact and rectify the results of electronic waste. When we bring up technological concerns, it is technology that once again becomes a means of rectifying. We must remind our opposers that technology is not limited to social media. Technology includes as basic, it is a scientific application as basic as a fire hose and as advanced as a supercomputer. They spoke to cyber crimes, deep fake. I must say that with the introduction of these new technologies, of course, we become or rather is unaware of how to use it. But it is technology that once again reminds us, provides the opportunity for education to teach us how to use it. With introduction of these new technologies, deepfake as she would have spoke of, it is policies that are prompted in order to regulate our new technologies. Of course, you can't just throw something on us, something so dynamic and convenient, and expect us to not use it or to know how to adequately and sufficiently and safely use it. It is important to highlight these things. I close. The impact of technology on safety is undeniable. Being able to use it as a tool, as a resource that it is, from once again a hose to outer fire to a supercomputer that predicts disasters. And when we compare this to the past, we know that technology not only makes us safe, but it makes us safer. I thank you.
Greetings to the adjudicators, members of the proposition team, and my fellow teammates. Advancements in technology have not alleviated our risks. Rather, they have spawned additional perils. Technological progress has led to the emergence of cybercrime, resulting in financial losses and undermining public confidence in financial institutions. The swift evolution of technology has in fact outpaced our judicial system, rendering its impact on security inconsequential. Moreover, technology enables the manipulation of public opinion, leading to harmful dissemination of false information. The use of lithium-ion batteries in technologies carry ethical and physical hazards, including child labor concerns and safety threats. These same lithium-ion batteries, when used in electric cars or hybrid cars, in the case of an accident, are predisposed to exploding. The fires from these batteries burn extremely hot and cannot be put out using standard firefighting equipment. Denied. Technology has not decreased the rate of crime in society. It has only directed criminals towards new areas to employ their criminal means and skills. Telemedicine, as brought up by side proposition, is not as effective as they would like you to believe, and often leads to cases of misdiagnosis, resulting in further health complications down the line. Their belief in online therapy models, while they do have a point there in the online therapy, helping people, the reality is that the safety concerns around the spread and selling of your information in those fields has been brought to the forefront, given BetterHelp's current lawsuit involving them leaking confidential client information. Comparisons between the US and Jamaica in terms of technology cannot be fairly stated. The US has advantages technologically that we do not have. Systems in place that we do not have as a nation. Because as I had said before, in terms of legislation and dealing with these technological issues through legislation, we are far behind. We do not deny that technology has its benefits for our society. But given my first speaker's definition of safety, it goes against our idea of a safe environment. In hand with this technology, meaning technology is not completely safe. Overall, technology has introduced novel modes of criminal activity, distorts public perception, and poses both moral and physical hazards, rendering us exposed and defenseless in this manner. The opposition rests its case.
All right? So the winning team, or everybody's a winner, the team with the most points today is, drum roll, Herbert Morrison Technical High School. All right, and we want to announce our best speaker for this competition. Our best speaker is from the Montego Bay High School, and it is our third speaker, our rebuttal speaker. So put your hands together for her. All right, so this was a very tight one, but indeed, we're all winners. So we're all going home with the cake today, right? So I want to thank you again for joining us in our debate competition. We encourage you to always participate. We have Fire and Life Safety Awareness Week coming up next year. So come on again and give it a try, whatever the competition is for next year, right? So thank you all, my participants. I want to thank the audience who was very good today, my judges. Thank you so much. My coaches, thank you so much. And do enjoy the rest of your evening.